The Second War of Kappel was an armed conflict in 1531 between the Protestant and the Roman Catholic cantons of the Old Swiss Confederacy during the Reformation in Switzerland. Cause: the tensions between the two parties had not been resolved by the peace concluded after the First War of Kappel 2 years earlier, and provocations from both sides continued, fueled in particular by the Augsburg Confession of 1530. Additionally, the Roman Catholic Party accused Zurich of territorial ambitions, as the Catholic cantons refused to help the Three Leagues in the Grisons during the Musso War against the Duchy of Milan. Zurich promptly considered this a breach of contracts between the Confederacy and the Three Leagues and declared an embargo against the 5 Alpine Catholic cantons, in which Bern also participated. While the Tagsatzung had successfully mediated in 1529, on this occasion the attempt failed, not least because Zwingli, the Protestant leader, was eager for a military confrontation. Pressed by the food embargo, the Catholic cantons declared war on Zurich on 9 October 1531. Battle of Kappel. On October 11, 1531, a force of approximately 7,000 soldiers from the 5 Catholic cantons met an army of only 2,000 men from Zurich at the Battle of Kappel. Zurich's army was unsupported by the other Protestant cantons and was led by Zwingli, while the combined Catholic army was led by Hans Jaffavari. The main Zurich force arrived at the battlefield in scattered groups and exhausted from a forced march. The Catholic forces attacked and after a brief resistance, the Protestant army broke around 4 in the afternoon. About 500 Protestants were killed in the battle and while fleeing. Among the dead was Zwingli and 24 other pastors. Zwingli's body was taken by the victorious Catholic army and burned as a heretic. After the defeat, the forces of Zurich regrouped and attempted to occupy the Zuggeberg, and some of them camped on the Gubbel Hill near Menzingen. Protestant response. Following the defeat at Kappel, Bern and other reformed cantons marched to rescue Zurich. Between 15 to 21 October, a large reformed army marched up the Reuss Valley to outside of Bar. At the same time, the Catholic army was now encamped on the slopes of the Zuggeberg. The combined Zurich-Bern army attempted to send 5,000 men over Silbrugg and Menzingen to encircle the army on the Zuggeberg. However, the reformed army marched slowly due to poor discipline and looting. By the night of 23–24 October, they had only reached Gubbel at Menzingen. That night they were attacked by a small Catholic force from Algeria and driven off. About 600 Protestant soldiers died in the attack and the panicked retreat that followed. This defeat destroyed much of the combined Zurich-Bern army and, faced with increasing desertion, it retreated on 3 November back down the Reuss to Bremgarten. The retreat left much of Lake Zurich and Zurich itself unprotected. Zurich now pushed for a rapid peace settlement. Aftermath. Heinrich Berlinger, who had been a teacher at Kappel, and since 1523 an outspoken supporter of Zwingli's, at the time of the battle was pastor at Bremgarten. Following the Battle of Kappel, Bremgarten was re-Catholicized. On 21 October, Berlinger fled to Zurich with his father, and on 9 December was declared Zwingli's successor. The peace that ended the war, the so-called Zweite Landfrieden, forced the dissolution of the Protestant alliance. It gave Catholicism the priority in the common territories, but allowed communes or parishes that had already converted to remain Protestant. Only strategically important places such as the Freiamt or those along the route from Schwyz to the Rhine Valley at Sargans were forcibly re-Catholicized. One result of the treaty, probably not anticipated by its signatories, was the long-term establishment of religious coexistence in several Swiss subject territories. In both the Thurgau and Aargau, for example, Catholic and Protestant congregations began worshipping in the same churches, which led to further tensions and conflicts throughout the 16th and 17th centuries. The treaty also confirmed each canton's right to practice either the Catholic or Reformed faith. thus defining the Swiss Confederation as a state with two religions, a relative novelty in Western Europe. The outcome of the war also confirmed and cemented the Catholic majority among the 13 full members of the Swiss Confederation. After later settlements in Glarus and Appenzell, 7 full and 2 half cantons remained Catholic, while 4 and 2 halves became firmly Swiss Reformed Protestant. An unsuccessful effort by the Protestant cantons, especially Zurich, to change the terms of confessional coexistence in 1656. The First War of Ilmergen led to a reaffirmation of the status quo in the Dritte Landfrieden. A second religious civil war in 1712, the Second War of Ilmergen, ended in a decisive Protestant victory and major revisions in the Fourth Landfrieden of 1712.